Sweat Equity Podcast.
Here we go.
I'm a little tired. It's Sunday morning. Caleb, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I got my coffee going. Got my good friend Brandan Underwood here from College Hunks Moving.
The one and only.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, let's get into it. We'll talk a lot about moving and how you're a hunk.
Let's get moving.
Mm-hmm. Sweat Equity Podcast. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes. I got to fix that intro, outro. Are we recording? Are we? Yeah, we're recording.
And here we are.
That's how professional this thing is. Sweat Equity Podcast. Go on iTunes, subscribe, give us a 5-star, give us a 1-star. I don't care. Give us a real review. But all of that stuff helps. If you like this podcast, it's about realistic business advice, kind of the anti-Tim Ferriss podcast for you. Do us a favor, send it out to a friend, send it to a loved one, copy the link, and just go, hey, I think you should listen to this. Caleb did it to me yesterday.
Yeah.
I listened to the whole thing.
Yep.
With it was Tim Ferriss's podcast.
Yeah. It was a good episode. I think the difference maybe between us and Ferriss is a lot of his stuff is for, venture capitalists and for people looking to invest into companies and how to be a founder of a big startup that wants to go out and change the world. We're doing stuff on a small business level. We want entrepreneurs. We want people who, and I'll take something from their podcast that I sent you. People who go from being wantrepreneurs to entrepreneurs. I really like that term they used. I like it. I like it because it helps paint a picture for people. Okay, to kind of come on over.
It's so hacky.
Well, it's hacky, but it paints that picture to the people kind of from the outside looking in. So.
Entrepreneur. The person who thought of that term was like, "Oh my God, I'm amazing. I'm gonna suck my own dick."
It's not profound to say the least, but it helps paint that picture. But either way, we're glad you're here. We're glad you found us and you've tuned in. Like Law said, whether you love us, whether you hate us, just give us some feedback. We want to hear what you guys think. We want to hear your thoughts on the podcast, what you've gotten from it, what your friends are thinking. So send us some love either way.
We want questions.
Yeah, we want questions.
Send us some questions. I know it feels silly. You can do it anonymously if you want.
Yeah.
It's the stuff I talk about with pretty much everybody anyway. So send us some questions. Go to law@tocoworks.com, LAWTOCOWORKS.com.
Woo!
Or Caleb at CALEB.
That's right.
Not with a K.
Not with a K.
At TocoWorks, TOCOWORKS.com.
God, sounds good.
We give a plug. We try to give a plug where an advertisement might be, if it existed, if we had one. We don't have an advertiser, but we like to just give shout-outs.
Yeah.
Before we get to College Hunks, hauling junk. Drone Compliance, our buddy Steve Fantetti.
Nice.
Attorney to the stars.
Yes.
He's got a company that does drone compliance for commercial, I guess, business ventures that need FAA regulation. He's figured out a hack. Because he's an attorney, he kind of legal zoomed the drone compliance thing.
Very nice.
If you were to do it as a business, it's like $700, $800. Through theirs, it's like $400.
Wow.
Yeah, so
save some
pretty
cash,
great.
man.
And if you're doing any kind of videography, our friends at Diamond View Studios or 208 Monkeys who are across the hall from us,
absolutely.
If they have a drone going and they're profiting off of the shots they're doing, they have to have it FAA compliant or they'll get. I think the fines, one of those crazy fines, like before you'd watch a movie with a VHS, it'd be like, to copy this movie is $800,000 and you'll go to prison for life.
Yeah.
It's one of those kind of fines, but they're actually doing it.
But
so
they regulate this?
They are. They're
upheld?
He dropped some knowledge on me. I was like, I had no idea. These things are... a drone flew into like my sister's house. It's like... What are we doing? How are we going to figure this out? I was like, if you can make a drone repellent, if you can figure out how to like knock out its signal so it just it dies.
I got my first batch of drone rage probably 2 weeks ago.
Drone rage.
Yeah, I was on a bike ride in the area here, and I saw some people flying a drone over a house doing a what hopefully was some real estate work, trying to get some photos and get some cool shots. And
I'm writing it down.
I just saw it in the sky, like above the house, and it was totally probably fully compliant with whatever they needed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I just got that feeling, and I told who I was with, I was like, I want to find a way that I can just shoot these things down without like getting arrested, where I can just pop these things out of the sky, because I just hated looking at it up there, and like the buzz and the people with the little controller. I just like they're like the new coffee snob. The drone flyers, they're the new coffee snob to me, and it's like you just don't. I don't want to see them.
Yeah,
I don't want to know they're out there.
I'm conflicted because I'm with you in the curmudgeon kind of way, where I want to just shoot every one of them, but I kind of want one.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I like the coffee asshole. I become what I hate.
I'd like to know about a good cup of coffee, but I don't want to hear you talk about it all goddamn day.
Right.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
So Brandan, let's get into College Hunks. Tell us the background of it. You're a franchisee.
Yes.
Is that right? Tell us what it is. I know it's been getting a lot of national recognition for it being the best moving company in the country. I think it was on I'm gonna fuck this up. I want to say like CNBC.
It was correct.
Okay. Woo, not bad.
Yeah, there you go.
Pay attention.
Not as tired as you think.
I'm not in the demo, but I know what's going on. I'm proud of anything that comes out of Tampa, and so it caught my eye. I guess explain to the listeners what it's about. What it is. Why is it different than any moving company? I think there's always the ones that are like 2 minute. What is it? 2 minute a truck.
Yes, the other guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are they your main competition?
You know what? I'd really like to think that there's not much competition for what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because we are revolutionizing this industry. Just to touch base, we are doing so many services that a lot of other service industries that are in our service aren't providing. So we're a moving company. We're a junk removal company. And we're also a labor company. So, we have a lot of things that we can provide to our clients. And we come in there with a professionalism that the other guys don't provide.
Oh, I'm my bad. So I'm thinking of the moving company, but there's the hauling junk aspect to it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we provide both. So it's almost like we have 2 to 3 different businesses within our business. We have junk trucks that go out and service to junk jobs, and then we have move trucks that go out and service to move jobs. So it's we see which guys can go in which field and kind of just stay in those fields because they, excel in either or.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things. We've talked about it as we're growing as a consulting business. We're finding that, hey, we're going to probably have some sub-brands as well, because it all kind of, right now, everything's under one S-Corp, company, but we're going to have an apparel line that needs to be its own kind of thing, but it's under our umbrella of sorts. This is technically through Cigar City Comedy, because if anybody sues us for defamation, they're not going to get anything.
Yeah.
And then, I get the sub-brand part of it, because it's like, well, we didn't know this was a market. We didn't know this was a thing that existed, and it needs to have its own identity to a degree. It needs to be under the College Hunks umbrella, but it needs to be its own deal, because there's a different set of rules, I'm sure, and different kind of employees.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what happened. When I first started 5.5 years ago, it was just a junk removal company. And then all of a sudden we noticed that there was a demand for moving, and we said, well, let's start moving.
Nice.
So then we opened up the College Hunks Moving as well along with it. And actually here in Tampa, we do 80% volume in moving, 20% in junk removal. So it's, completely switched around on which we once started out as a junk removal company.
Safe to say that was probably a pretty good move to make.
Yes, it was.
Like, we're noticing a little bit of a need here. It's like, and this is now what we do.
Yep.
Well, it's crazy. I've only had movers a couple of times. My experience, and from what I understand from people older than I am, when they talk about it, is like, it's kind of like you let a bunch of shitheads in your house to move stuff, and you're like, I'm worried they're going to steal something, that kind of thing. I guess tell me how what makes y'all different than, those kind of guys. We had it one time, and I was like, I don't want this crackhead in my house. This guy's
Yeah.
a crackhead. Like
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want him in my house. I mean, he's skinny too. I want some. I want some bulk.
You want some hunks.
Yeah, I want some heft. I don't want this guy who's like just ripping it because he's on methamphetamine or something.
That's that was definitely the niche for us, was to break away from that stereotypical laborer.
Yeah.
You'll see the other guys, or whoever you want to refer to them as, with not the same caliber of employees that we have.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing we pride ourselves on is that when these guys are on board, they're not just movers. They're not just junk removal guys. They're learning how to run their own truck. So they're doing their own breakdown. They're doing their paperwork for the end of the day. They're learning how to properly basically save their time throughout the day and make sure that they can come back with the best net that they can. So they're learning how to run these trucks if it was their own business. They're running their own metrics and everything.
So you're not you're not teach you're not like, hey, you're a laborer, come in here.
Correct.
You're here for 8 hours. You just ride in the truck, move stuff from A to B. That's it. You're teaching them. You're spending a lot of sweat equity on. That's the titular line. But you're teaching them how to have ownership in it. And was that conscious? Did that happen by chance, or was that one of those things where I guess I was going to start to answer for you, but I was saying, like, is it something you're like, y'all wanted to do that, but you didn't know how good of a success that is? I always feel like it's better to have employees that have ownership in their work.
Yep.
And so you get a lot more out of it. It's a tougher initial climb to really get them to want it, and you're going to weed out a lot of shitheads. But at the end of the day, you have less turnover because people are into what they're doing.
Absolutely. When we first started, building leaders is one of our core values, and we have 5 core values that we stand by to this day. And that's what's made us so successful to where we're at now. A lot of our guys that leave, they're not leaving to go to another moving company, another junk moving company. They're going to go to a career field, and they take away a lot from this particular job. And I firmly believe that's their output they put out in the field and what they bring back is going to dictate how they're going to get paid or how they're going to get rewarded. So that's definitely a big drive here, and these guys are not just your typical laborers. I mean, I just can't quantify the level of professionalism that we provide to a job. It's unreal.
Yeah, and I know having been a customer before, a couple times now, it is something that I've been shocked by. Where I usually look at it, because Brandon and I have been friends for a long time, as, oh yeah, Brandon's just hooking me up and I'm gonna get some help moving. But it always turns into almost, I don't want to be like corny or cliche, but like the college hunks experience, where these guys come in, they're in somewhat of uniform, and every single one of them is courteous as can be, careful with your stuff, and they're quick as all hell. And it's kind of like, you can't help but notice the job they do, because I mean, I've moved myself, except for the last 2 times I've moved. I probably moved 10 times by now. I've moved myself all the other times, and you sit there and you're like, this would be about 30 minutes in. I'd have broken 4 things out of rage, and I'd be like sitting on the couch having a beer, taking a break already. But it's like, we're like a quarter of the way done, and I'm not even sweating. And I mean, these guys are they're working nonstop. So I don't know, I can attest to kind of the ownership that each individual guy takes. And kind of to segue into it a little bit, I've noticed just with Brandon as well, Brandon's gone from employee to franchise owner. And that's kind of a testament to kind of the values that the company puts onto their employees. And if you want to kind of talk about how that transition happened, and how that's come about, going from, you were moving, doing junk removal, driving the trucks, loading boxes, all those sort of things, to now doing everything an entrepreneur would do with hiring process, managing, leading, accounting, marketing, everything. If you want to talk about that a little bit, I think that's really cool insight to have.
Yeah, absolutely. It's when I first started, I was just on the trucks looking at it as a part-time job, working the weekends while in school. And then after a couple months, I started introducing a couple more days into that routine. And then I come to the point where I was doing everyone's job above me, and which was not that great. And then, quickly started to climb the management ladder from operations manager to being GM/operations manager to being the general manager of the corporate location here in Tampa. And I've been doing this now for 2.5 years. And, I bought into the system, and I bought into what was provided to me as far as, something I've never seen or witnessed before from such a young company. And, just the group of guys and everything. I bought into the complete system to the point that I obviously bought into a franchise.
It's not Scientology. My question is, and this might be good advice to give out, to impart in anybody in any industry. You went from doing everybody's job. I feel like there's a lot of people that are employees that go, I'm doing everything. I'm doing more than all my bosses. How'd you kind of break through that? How'd you get through that kind of goal line stance of just I feel like every fifth friend of mine is doing, they're in that position where they're screwed. Like, I'm doing everybody's work. I'm not getting credit for it. And I don't know how to get to that next level.
At first, I wasn't as cutthroat about it. I was just kind of bearing down and doing the work and letting my actions reflect what I was doing. And I still think that's a great way to get about it.
Agreed.
But then it comes to a point where you're going to find yourself at a crossroads where you're like, you know what, I've done so much. Here's my opportunity. You got to take it. And you have to take an opportunity.
But I'm saying, did you set up did you try to talk to the owner or at that point, maybe, the COO or something like that?
Yeah, the CEO and president, we sat down, and I think they realized from me putting all that work in and just kind of putting my head down and grinding that they were like, here's a star here. And I go, listen, I've been doing this for the past 7 months.
Right.
I'm not sure if you guys noticed it, but I was putting those 70-hour weeks in, and they were like, okay, let's go forward. Let's go ahead and promote you to the general manager.
I mean, that's a tough conversation to have, because at one point you're doing it for 7 months, 70 hours a week, but at the same time you probably are like, that's not, I haven't been doing it that long, but at the same time, I know my value as compared to everybody else around me. And I'm going to bet that after you kind of moved up, you're a lot more empathetic to that. Now you kind of realize those guys are in your position as well. As a manager, maybe.
Somewhat, but I can't really agree on that, just because I think people are in a position sometimes that they shouldn't be.
Okay.
And then maybe you have somebody underneath them that is much better than they could be. It's a realization. That's business. If somebody's better than you, they're going to have to take your spot at some point, sometime. Yeah. And I think that's definitely what happened. And, it's evolution.
And I think kind of one thing it could boil down to as well is that you made yourself irreplaceable. I mean, and I think that's how we move up, right? And maybe it takes 7 months, maybe it takes 3 months, maybe it takes 5 years. But as long as you're in a company, making yourself, non-replaceable and saying, yeah, well, I know how to do all these guys' jobs above me. Now you're putting your employers and your higher ups in a position to make a move where they're going to say, all right, we're either going to lose this guy who gets it, who's bought in, who does everything right and then some, or we're going to just keep him down there and he's going to go away, or do we move him up?
Well,
do we give him more responsibility?
A lot of higher ups get scared though. They get threatened. They feel like they can get boxed out.
I agree. I think there's
no pun intended.
I think there's a level. There's layers to it, obviously, and each individual company, corporation, or small business even is going to be unique in itself. But I think with Brandan, I think the situation you were in, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but he had direct access to the owners and founders of the company.
Correct.
So it kind of jumped a couple levels of management a little bit, where he kind of got to go over some people's heads. And I think that's cool. I think that's something hopefully, listeners can kind of take away. And there's some people that might be out there that are in the position that either you are in or you were in, and can say, man, this sucks. I'm not getting much recognition for what's going on. I'm doing, 5 different people's jobs. I'm doing it better than they can. And I'm taking care of my own stuff.
I think the better way to look at it's that way. But if I'm out, if I got hit by a truck, let's say, and I'm out for
not other guy's truck,
other guy's
not
truck,
our
they're
truck.
careless drivers,
crackhead moving company truck,
right? LLC.
If I'm out, they're limited liability.
Yeah,
okay.
they're smart about this.
If I'm hit by a truck, how bad am I going to be missed?
Right.
I feel like that's the bigger indicator than trying to go, hey, I know how to do everything. I'm irreplaceable, irresistible at the same time. Wink.
Right.
But I feel like that's the bigger thing. If you're out of the whole, if you're missing, the business will suffer dramatically. I feel like that's your biggest kind of value.
So I think that's where you can put yourself in that strong position where good companies are structured to where they do invest a lot into people, but they don't rely on one person.
Right.
Yeah. So if you do that, if you're out there and you're starting a small business and it all relies on you and something happens where you can't continue anymore and your company is going to go under because of that, you need to restructure the way you've got your business going.
I think about coverage every couple of hours.
Yeah, I was about to say, how many times a day?
Yeah. I mean, it's like if I get hit by a truck, what's going to happen? You know, it's that kind of thing. Like Josh can step in and read my notes and immediately know. My business partner can immediately know what's going on.
Right.
But that takes a lot of discipline to write down everything that's going on.
Absolutely.
And hey, this is what we're working on. Here are our tasks. Here are our projects. All that stuff. I guess we're kind of getting down a kind of a more general path. I wanted to ask, how long has the company been around?
Company's been around coming up on 9.5 years.
Okay.
Yep.
And
nice.
And it's seen a lot of growth. I feel like the service side of it is your best competitive advantage, I would say, is that you're getting the right people. How do y'all hire?
That's a huge thing, obviously, for our industry, especially from our frontline employees, the laborers. My biggest thing that I've come to realize that a lot of the guys that are on the trucks, their referrals tend to be the best referrals. And the reason being is because those guys are the hunks that we're looking for. And usually you're surrounding yourself with like-minded people. So when they come in, they aren't just those laborers that are filling an application that have 10 felonies and half of them are for theft.
Right.
So now we're talking about wasting a lot of time reading those. Yeah,
exactly.
Which I'm sure you guys have to weed through, too.
Yeah, we do. I mean, because you never know. You might have somebody that, fills out an application that wasn't a referral and he comes in and he's, a star. But I'd say a lot of our core guys are, inside referrals from the other guys.
And it's an interesting kind of labor kind of to manage. Is there burnout rates? Can you I was talking to a massage therapist and I was trying to help her with her numbers, and I was like, well, you really can only how many can you do in a day? And she was like, I can do probably 6. And I was like, you can do 6 a day.
Yeah.
For how many days? And she was like, oh, I don't know, I guess 5. And I was like, you don't think you're gonna wear out? Because that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's a shitload. And I was trying to tell her she needs to move her price up in that respect. Like, you're going to burn out. You need to have better value and get, just core clientele and build that up, because it's too hard. The margins don't make sense. I feel like there's a huge burnout rate for hauling stuff, moving stuff. Is there, do y'all have a utilization rate, cap rate on how many hours they can work or something like that?
Yeah, you're definitely conscious of the hours that the guys are putting in. The way that we structure it is like a 5-day on, 2-day off split. We have a lot of guys that are in college that can only work the weekends. Right. So you don't have to worry about those guys in that regard. I'd say probably 75% of our guys are in school still. The rest are, I have a couple guys that are taking a semester off because they're saving to go travel. So, I have people all over the place, but you're definitely conscious. I don't want anyone to break 40 hours plus. Generally our guys are anywhere from 25 to 35 hours. So everyone's fresh. If you have a big move, you don't have to worry about guys coming in and they're exhausted. And everyone's got fresh legs.
I feel like that'd be part of it too. You want them to be fresh because from my understanding from friends that have used y'all, and you would know firsthand, Caleb, the guys, they're friendly. Yeah, that's part of y'all's value proposition is, hey, these guys are going to come in. It's almost old school. It's almost like the milkman who's really nice. It's correct. They're coming in your house, and I feel like that. It's so weird who we allow in our house. That's a fucking bum, electrician or a fucking plumber. They're just fucking assholes and shitty and grimy and rip you off. Contractors especially, security installers. the security installer.
Law's been hurt many times.
It sounds like
by
it.
many
No, I mean,
different people.
like
that list is long.
Think about the Rolodex of people you let in your house.
Oh, it's true. It's very
is,
true.
yeah.
And I think we've all, if we haven't fallen victim to it, like our parents have, or we have friends who have, and it's almost just that general fear, and it's just such a pain in the ass when you're like, oh shit, I got a plumber coming over today. Like what am I gonna have to deal with?
I tell you right now, I don't let my wife stay home alone when random people come over.
Really?
Yeah, I make sure that I'm there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know.
I'm kind of the same way.
It's 2016, man.
My wife's Asian, so I'm not worried about it.
She's good.
She's yelling at them. so she's like a ninja, so it's fine. But I guess one question I have about there's a lot of disintermediation apps, meaning Uber, Airbnb. I'm sure you guys see this kind of come around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to compete with TaskRabbit? I think that's the biggest one, probably the biggest threat for y'all in terms of this peer-to-peer kind of moving system.
And what is TaskRabbit? Help, because I don't know what it is personally. I don't know if the listeners will.
It's in New York and LA. It's in the bigger cities right now, like the
Mm-hmm.
tier 1 cities you would do if you're launching an app. Basically, everybody in New York uses it. I know that. Where it's 4 things. It's like handyman, cleaning service, moving, and there's a 4th thing I can't think of, but maybe plumber. And so they're essentially the Uber for those services.
Right.
And so in New York, everybody uses TaskRabbit, and it's going off like gangbusters. They're trying to, expand it. They're not going to expand as rapidly as Uber or any of that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I feel like there's going to be a lot more of those around the corner, and I wonder what y'all are thinking about going forward. Like, it's not an immediate threat, but it is something you got to keep your eye on.
We have some plans.
Okay.
Yeah, we have some plans.
All right.
We definitely have some things up our sleeves for later on this year, and
Gotcha.
most likely 2017. So
All right.
be on the
pretty cool.
lookout. Yeah.
Look for the Hunk app.
Nice.
Yes.
So
Awesome, man.
find Hunks anywhere. Mash it up with Tinder. Just do
You know what?
integration.
Sometimes I feel like we are from some of the calls that we get in.
Really?
So, yeah.
So the name is interesting. The name is one of those things that's like, it sticks with you. Do you know who came up with it, or like what's the story behind it? I just feel like it's an interesting name. Hunks is like almost probably going. That was something like in the 80s, 90s. I feel like was used a lot, but I feel like the name's very catchy on a very good commercial level. Like Pods is not the most ingenious name, but you look at it and you're like, okay, that makes sense on a big commercial level. College Hunks is just a great name because it's a brand identifier immediately. You're getting college. You think you're getting college kids, whether you know it or not. Like maybe the kids aren't in college. It sounds like they all are.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that a prerequisite?
It's really not. I'm not going to shun anybody away for it.
But it is one of those things. Well, you can always say, "Hey, they're part of our college, huh?"
Oh,
Yeah.
There it is.
They're learning.
Yeah,
Hunk
buddy.
University.
Hey, shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
buddy.
if you guys are really teaching them kind of the entrepreneurial part of this, that's invaluable. I mean, that's way more than any class you'll have at a community college.
Mm-hmm.
My thing with the College Hunks name, the reason it's really great is because it makes you think of. It already makes you think that these guys are legit because they're college kids. Whether we believe college is good or not, I think there's too many and it's too expensive, and there should be more tech colleges or trade colleges. But our lizard brain still thinks Hunks and still thinks college. This person's somewhat educated or trying to improve themselves.
Yep.
Instead of being like, these are just... I saw one that was so shitty the other day. I started laughing. It was like fat old man moving company. It's like, what the fuck is that? Why would you do that?
That's just up front from the get-go, man.
I mean, but like,
You know what you're getting. You know what.
fat old molesting man.
You have to buy them lunch. That's a
Lunch must be provided.
So my thing is, how did it come up with the name? How has the brand been recognized for the name? It sounds like you might get some ladies calling for services. Tell us about that.
The name came about with Nick and Omar, the CEO and president of the company, really good friends, and they were just looking for like a part-time job or something to do over summer. So they came up with this idea, and they had their mom's van, and they were just using their mom's van to haul away junk in the neighborhood, and they saw that there was a demand for it. So Omar went to University of Miami, and he submitted it into a business, contest, and ends up winning. And they were like, wow, I think we really do have something here. So they ended up going that corporate lifestyle after college in cubicles, the dreaded cubes, and realized, man, this is not what we want to do. Why don't we revisit college hunks hauling junk, and let's try this. And they did, and it's where we're at now.
So owners are relatively young, or partners. I'd say you're an owner. You're a franchise owner. Yep. And just, I guess, do you get like old ladies that are like, yeah, I'm gonna get some guys in hot pants?
It's crazy because the three most stressful things in the world: death, divorce, and then moving. Because moving usually is connected to the divorce or death.
Okay.
And it's
pretty cool little. And
it's a really stressful.
That's a nice pitch. I like
that. Yeah, that's nice.
And we, like I said, we provide a stress-free service.
Forgot public speaking in there, but I always hear, because I do stand-up, I always hear like, how do you do that? It's like the second biggest fear, or the first biggest fear. Jerry Seinfeld had the thing about you're more scared to give the eulogy than being in the coffin, or something like that. I can't remember, but go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
So we do get a lot of phone calls in, and we're dealing with, really delicate situations a lot of times. And you have to go in there with a sense of compassion for some of these people that we're moving. A divorce situation or a death situation or you name it, we see it.
Right.
Have you ever watched the show Hoarders on TV?
Yeah. I've seen. Unfortunately, I've seen it. It stresses me the hell out.
We've been on there, and
really,
yeah, we've been on there, and those situations are insane, and you have to have a level of compassion and know how to go about those situations because it is a disease, and you have to be courteous the whole entire time.
Well, the hoarding thing's like, it's an OCD-ish thing, right?
Yep.
It's a way to control something because you can't control a lot of other things. Is there any I haven't seen the episode. I mean, what was the story when y'all were on there?
We've had different franchise locations on there for various things. I'll tell you.
This several episodes.
Oh yeah. We've had several.
I'm willing to bet a lot of Floridians.
They could probably do that show just down in Florida.
Yeah. I'll tell you a crazy story. We got a call from the city to go look at a house because they needed a bid for the junk removal job. We get there, and this poor lady is outside of her house. She hoarded so bad inside her house that she had to live outside of her house.
Yeah.
Wow. So she was going to the park down the street from her house, and she was picking up all the trash because she wanted the park to look clean. But she was bringing all the trash inside her house.
Okay.
And it was all the way to the ceiling.
That's ridiculous.
It's, and the nicest lady, poor thing, it's crazy what you see in this industry.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
That sounds like there's a lot deeper psychological issues going on there. And so hopefully you guys hired some psych majors to come on, analyze the issue, and then get all that shit out of her house.
Well,
but
I mean, I stopped watching Hoarders once I saw the episode where it was like, oh, yeah, we found 14 dead cats in here. There's 28 other ones running around in this place. It's like, fuck this show. Like,
I've seen a dead cat before. Not going to lie.
I've seen them. I don't need to do it for entertainment.
Yeah, I don't need to watch that in my free time.
I know these people exist. It's just a total bummer.
So one of the things I want to get to is, and I know you're really big into it because we talk a lot just, as friends and both being in business and whatnot, on networking and kind of the importance of networking, but more so honing it in so that it's not just you can network all you want and you can be that Delta Bravo that everyone hates at the bar that's passing out, hey man, I'm Caleb, and you hand him a business card and people are like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Like, you serious? Like, that's like almost, that's just, don't ever do that. If anyone's out there and you've ever handed someone your business card at a bar when you introduced yourself, stop. Just stop doing it. No one's going to call you.
Not a good look.
But more so focusing your efforts with networking and looking in the right places to network. that's a big part of what you guys do, being a franchise owner now and a general manager. Can you talk about kind of your networking efforts and what they've kind of done for you a little bit?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in guerrilla marketing. I don't know if you guys seen, but we have signs all throughout the city.
Oh yeah.
We do a lot of door hangers, like the small stuff that people overlook, and everyone's gone to, using tech. Marketing, which is great, and we do that as well.
Right.
But everyone's forgotten about the guerrilla marketing, which we used to use in the 20s, the 30s, and the 40s that worked so well. And we've gotten back to that basic footprint, and it's worked out wonders for us. I firmly believe of being a staple in the community. And we do a lot of charity work with a lot of foundations here in Tampa. And, that's, to me, as a startup company, whether you're a franchise or you're just a brand new startup, you got to do those things.
Yeah.
And you have to join some networking groups, whichever one's going to work for you. I was in Chamber of Commerce for a while. I just found that BNI was a little bit more successful for me for what I was looking for.
Can you describe what BNI is to some of our listeners?
It's Business Network International. And what it is it's a chapter. And inside this chapter, there's many businesses. Neither two are alike. So you'll have me, which I'm a moving seat. And then you'll have Caleb, who could be a dentist. And then you'll have Laws, who will be an electrician. So the whole chapter is about referring business within each other.
Right.
And, so you feel comfortable knowing that the business is going to be passed to anyone else because it's supposed to be passed amongst each other. It's very organized. You have to write down all your referrals. So it's very, very on top of things, which is good because it's forcing / making you network amongst each other. And that's a huge contact sphere. And I can't even count all the jobs that I've had from BNI because you build relationships with these people that become to trust you.
So is there a cost to being in BNI?
There is a cost. It's really not much at all. You pay your year fee and then your monthly dues. You meet once a week. It's an hour and a half to almost 2 hours long.
Nice.
Everyone stands up.
Once a week?
Yeah, once a week.
But think about this.
No, I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
I've been in some chambers, man, and they're fucking horrible.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I'm sure this one, if you're not there for the right reasons, because I think you can't just take referrals. You have to give as well, right? So,
yes. Givers gain is their motto. But the cool thing about that group is that you stand up every day and you give a 30-second infomercial. So you give a pitch every single day.
But every week.
Every week.
Yeah,
every week that you.
I was about to say every day.
Yeah, every day. Yeah. Well,
practice every day.
I'm pitching right now. It's Sunday.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, the reason we do like this is because it does give advice out in a long-term kind of way. For us, it's marketing. It is. A lot of people can listen to this and a lot of our service stuff is we're a service industry, but our stuff is like. People are so scared of the tech industry and a lot of stuff. This is a way to kind of show people in a consistent basis, just like that, via audio. Hey, we know what we're talking about, and if we don't, we're kind of curious about it. I feel like networking is a rough term. It's kind of the fucked out term like branding. Yeah. And I hate networking groups, but that one seems legit. Like that would. I'm thinking about the business card guy. Yeah. Go to those chamber meetings. That's all they are.
And it's all and I think that's where I know when Brandan first told me about BNI a while back, I was like, man, I almost want to find a way I can use this. I mean, but just to go and be a part of it. Yeah. Because when you think of network, I mean, if you have LinkedIn, you get invited to networking events, and it's the most generic, annoying message you ever receive from business card guy or girl. And
adjust your settings.
And it's one of those things where you go and you show up to a bar and they're like, it's going to be drinks and food and happy hour and a guest speaker, and it's really just a bunch of people being like, hey, I'll sell you life insurance and here's what we can do for you. Oh, you're not doing this, you need to do this. And it's like, I didn't come here to get lectured. Like, I want to network with business professionals, not someone who has to show their boss they're doing stuff outside of the office to bring in business. And that's really what a lot of those people are doing. So it sounds like with BNI, it's a lot of business owners that are there. It's not the intern who's showing he's gung-ho about becoming full-time. It's not, those people who are just going to annoy you to death with business cards and flyers and shit. It seems pretty organized and pretty well kept to kind of help everybody connect. So.
And the sharp thing you did about marketing, this is one of the biggest things about marketing or whatever you're doing in that marketing bucket is you looked at the the chamber meetings you're going to, and you're like, this isn't moving the needle. I need to do something different.
Oh yeah.
Where a lot of people just spin their tires. They go, well, I'm doing 5 different chambers, and nothing's coming in. It's like, well, you have to look at your results. How many
Correct.
leads are you getting out of this? Are they quality? What kind of is there a long-term thing? Maybe you're not getting leads now, but maybe down the line, maybe you're getting more commercial ones or something like that. But I tell you, dude, people run a business. You got to sit back. You got to go what I call my old man Jewish walks, old Jewish man walks.
Did we decide those are hands behind the back or no? Walking stick.
That's like a Morpheus kind of way of walking.
Okay.
But I turn the phone off and I take a notepad and I'll walk around Ybor City and just kind of let the thoughts of like, what are we doing? Are we doing the correct kind of marketing? Are we getting the right kind of brand out there? And I don't think a lot of people do that. I don't think a lot of people go, we are doing marketing tactics. These are these things, but they don't look if they're effective or not.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people become complacent just because they heard that Tim said, oh, that works great for me.
Right.
Let me do what Tim does, and it doesn't work for you. Just because it works for Tim doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
Yeah.
Find what works for you.
Right. Well, I guess y'all's where was I going to go? You got something?
Yeah.
You
So
look like you're
yeah, and I think kind of going with those walks and helping clear the air. I know. Brandan is a big, workout fanatic. I think you guys go to the same gym, as a matter of fact, that I used to go to. That I don't go to anymore. But
it's a bummer seeing him work out.
Yeah,
because I'm like, God.
Try working out with him. It was fun. That's why I don't go anymore. I'm like, I'm good, thanks. I'm gonna play the I'm good card.
But I've been thinking about this a lot too. I have to make time to do that because your position might be a little bit more. You're doing a lot of things that involve you kind of at least walking around all day. I could be at a computer all day, so it's one of those things where now I'm like, you got to figure out how to get in there. Maybe 2 or 3 times a day to do something.
Yeah.
Other than I have like a yoga mat over there near the desk. I got to do that. It clears my head though. That's the other thing.
Yep.
My wife doesn't get it because she didn't grow up with that. But I grew up working out since I was like 13.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't have like that 20, 30 minutes of doing weights or some kind of cardio or something, I get depressed. I don't know if that's the same way for you or
I don't. And if you can kind of talk about your routine a little bit, maybe what your morning routine kind of looks like. Is there a workout in there, and just kind of the importance that you found with exercise and staying sharp, staying on top of everything business wise, how it kind of rounds out the day for you.
It's crazy, but I do the same exact thing every single day. At the same exact time.
That's totally not crazy. That's
No,
that's called a routine, and that's good.
I want to get there. I have no discipline.
Yeah.
It sucks. So tell us about it.
I even in business, I think in business you need to be organized. You need to have a routine. If you don't have a routine and you're all over the place, you are going to drown.
It's killing me, dude.
Yeah.
Right now I'm like, I feel so unorganized. I came in here yesterday and just fucking knocked out a bunch of was like. Spend 4 hours.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
You know, we've gotten so busy before where I got off my routine and I was like, I can't do this.
Right.
Like, I'm underneath water right now.
Yeah.
So I have the same routine every day. I wake up early in the morning. I go to the gym. I go to work at 6:30 in the morning. I'm in work, so I'm up early, and then I carry about everything I do is the same. And all my employees and other management staff are like, "You have OCD." I was like, I don't think it's OCD. I just think it's me knowing what I have to do so I don't drown.
Yeah, and I think
by the way, there's good OCD. That's a good OCD.
Yeah.
My buddy has it, and he cleans his house like every day, and I'm like, that's good. I wish I had. That's like when it's like, well, racism. When you talk about black dudes having big dicks, I'm like, that's good race. I take that one all day, man. Like, that's
I don't think any black guys gonna be like, y'all really need to stop with that. You're really getting to me, man.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, that's a good OCD. That's that discipline, and you're 100% right. That discipline is where you will be a company treading water or a company being very successful as far as taking the lead in it. And it's funny when people are like, you have OCD. It's like, no. This is what you should be doing every day.
Yeah, correct. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not at home playing video games all day long.
Right. So you get up. You're at 6:30. You're in the office. You bust out emails. It sounds like.
Well, I mean, our guys will have long days. So they'll leave their stuff. Like I have the same. It's crazy. The guys will leave stuff in the trucks. Everything will be locked up. I'll go out there. I'll grab everything. I'll have it all set up in the morning. When they come in, I want my guys not to have to worry about anything because obviously they're doing the labor throughout the day.
Interesting.
And that's that's going to expend you mentally and physically.
Yeah.
So I have everything set up for them. They come in and they basically just take a packet, which would be our clippord, and they can go.
So
I have everything
you're
laid
prepping
out.
them. Yeah.
Everything's prepped. It's almost like you have to be that babysitter / father figure where you have to have everything in line for the kids because they need to be able to carry everything out efficiently.
I don't even think it comes down to that necessarily. And maybe it does because I obviously don't work with you. But I think it's when you show them that they're cared about.
Yo,
you know what I mean? It's
absolutely.
like it's almost that aspect where it's like, man, Brandan, like, he gets his ass in here at 6:30. He's here before everybody. All our stuff's laid out, ready to go. You're setting that bar for them of saying, this is the level of commitment I have to you guys. And, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, they show that back or they don't. And if they continuously don't show that back, they go find something else to do. But if they do, and you're getting them to buy in.
Yeah, it's a family. It really is a family. And, we do stuff that builds our family even tighter. Like we'll have our all staff once a month where we'll go play basketball down the street from our office, and we had that competition going, and we'll do knockout tournaments, and it's a family. It really, really is. And I think that's the biggest thing about business is making, like Caleb said, everyone feel welcome and invited, and you're going to get the best results out of the whole team, not just an employee from the front line, but also yourself, because now you're buying in even more as well.
Yeah. Well, my question was going to be, do they realize what you're doing? It can go unnoticed and unthanked, and just they show up and go. It could be one of those things where they don't even know you're doing it. But
that goes back to the whole thing. Everyone that's an employee underneath somebody is always going to think, well, I can do so and so's job. That looks easy.
Yeah.
But that's because you don't see the stuff behind the curtains, and that's the most valuable stuff is the stuff behind the curtains.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we like this podcast. It's because it's cool to have the results, and it's cool to see y'all succeed, and you get the national recognition and everything. But what people don't realize is like that is a very, very small piece of what you're. There's so much work behind that. Mm-hmm. And my thing with if they appreciate you setting them up for the day. My thing is it sounds like you do the lead by doing better than everybody else, more than everybody else. I feel like you can sponge a lot of that as an employee and go, that's my boss is getting here early to set me up to go. That I just wonder if that's inspiring for employees.
And I think you just said the key word with leading is inspiring.
Yeah.
And I think it can get on a kind of a corny level, but what it comes down to is, do you make your employees want to work, or do you make them? Do they come in with the same attitude that they left with the day before, and that's tired, probably a little overworked, wondering what the hell am I doing? Or do they come in and they're like, "Hey, Brandan, what's up, man?" Yeah, and they're ready to go, and they're hungry, they're energetic because they love what they're doing because you make them feel that way. Yeah. And I think you can only get those results when you're inspiring people, and that's not sitting around reading inspirational quotes to them. But that's the small things.
I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen your Instagram account. There's no inspirational memes everywhere, so which is a good thing. But I think there's something to be said for the leader that he doesn't just lead by example. Mm-hmm. I mean, you may not even know that you do it, but you get people to follow you just because of the way you act, some of your habits. Oh man, Brandan's serious. He didn't just roll out of bed and come in. He's been up working out. Why? So he can be sharper today, so he can help us run this company. They see that, and hopefully they get that. And the ones that do, they do. The ones that don't, they won't. Yeah. But those people separate themselves over time, and they kind of weed themselves out. So.
Well, I mean, I've been there. I've been on these trucks. I've worked the 10-hour days, and they know this. And if they're in a situation where they need help, I'll go out there and I'll slug it out. Mm-hmm. I have no issues with it at all.
And that's part of coverage too. When you're small, it's like one of those things where it's like, hey, yeah, I'm running the show, but
you got to bear down.
Yeah, if shit hits the fan, Zyka hits 2 of the guys, and we gotta get shit for weird grandma with cats, and we gotta get it over to the other side of town. I'm fucking in there, man, and I totally agree with that. It's one of those things where you just roll it up and go, get it done, and I'll figure out how to do everything else later that I normally do.
If I give any word of advice, it's definitely treat the guys the way that you want to be treated.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. I struggle with that a little bit too, because it's one of those things where we have like an intern in here, and I tell him he has no skills. So, you suck. But I'm hard on him because I liked that guys were hard on me when I was in my early 20s. I've told this, I think, on the podcast a few times. The best lesson I got was like I'd ask questions, but I wouldn't go look first. And the one guy was like, I was like, hey, how do you do this VLOOKUP in Excel? And he's like, oh, let me show you. And he got on my computer and then opened Google, and he's like, fucking figure it out yourself. And I was like, okay, yeah, we have this thing where I can find anything. Okay, yeah. I should only ask if I'm super stuck, or I tried.
Yeah.
I have 3 scenarios I tried. So I feel like I'm trying to exude that discipline that was given to me, or that kind of like, hey, I want you to critically think first, and then you're not a robot, that kind of thing.
Well, and then you find out who's up to the challenge, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It kind of helps people separate themselves, and it lets you know as a manager, business owner, or employer, whatever you want to classify as, it lets you know what you've got. In an employee. I think that's important to know sooner rather than later, but I think that also kind of can develop over time too. You'll probably find you'll get a lot less questions as that person sticks around.
Yeah.
They're willing to figure things out on their own. So
well, what's we'll close it down. I mean, this goes by quick.
Yeah.
It's now I'm like kind of fired up to work on our stuff by just listening to y'all's story.
You didn't even work out this morning, Brandon.
I
think
not.
Brandon.
Actually.
Oh, you didn't either.
I didn't.
I was gonna say Brandon's workout. Aura is flowing over to you.
I know. I'm feeling
Damn.
it.
I've got yard work to do after this. Can't wait.
Yard work.
That's fun.
All right.
Football season must be over.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
It's Valentine's Day, man.
Yard work.
Yeah. Well, what do you see in the future? Obviously, there's something around the corner to compete with the disintermediation that's going to happen in the future with a lot of stuff. It sounds like y'all, I'm guessing, are developing an app in that direction. What else can we see out of College Hunks? Maybe you have your eyes on. Not necessarily. You don't have to say like, hey, this is our 5-year plan, but you can see stuff in the industry going around the corner, or you see new opportunities. Is there stuff you can talk about?
I definitely don't want to give away our tricks on our sleeve.
Right.
But I will say that we are going to evolve into something in which we can corner the market.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that.
Nice.
I think it's important for business owners to continue to evolve no matter what it is. And I think that's what we've done over the years and will continue to do until we are the leading service market for our market in the nation.
Yeah, and as an owner, you don't really start making bank. If your goal is to make a lot of money, and usually everybody's is, you don't start making bank until you really have the coverage, the employees, the system, the market share, all that stuff set up. I don't want to do web development, but I can do it now. I understand that I'm going to have a team.
You mean you personally, not the company?
Yeah. As the company, I'm still doing it.
Right.
My partner's still doing the branding work, but we realized part of our plan was he's going to have to teach graphic designers how to do his style and how to emulate and how to think like him.
Yep.
I'm going to have to teach people how to, be efficient, and we want to make bank in that direction. You teach and you kind of grow and you keep growing. Now I feel like I'm visualizing a pyramid scheme, but
you guys want to buy some protein?
I'm the Martin Shkreli of digital consultants.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like y'all, if you're going at the pace y'all are going at the first 9 years, I mean, there's no stopping y'all. Y'all have such a good brand and such the customer service. We didn't even get to that part, but that's how you get repeat customers. That's how you separate yourself from the clods that are out there as your competition.
Yeah. And so I got one last question for you, and we'll shut it down. We know you got yard work to get to, but so if there's one thing you could let our listeners know about College Hunks, hauling junk, and College Hunks moving. What would you want them to know, whether it's about your employees, your business structure, your customer service? What's kind of a message to our listeners about your company?
The biggest thing about us is that we're all up front on everything, in every aspect, from our pricing to what you're going to get. You hire us, you're going to get professionalism on every aspect, from management to the person booking your job to the employees till when the job's completed. And if you want that experience and you don't want to go with somebody that's most likely not going to provide any of those things, definitely go with us.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I mean, people just heard you for an hour.
Yep.
So it's kind of one of those things where
awesome. Thank you. I
that
appreciate it,
instills
guys.
a little bit more trust. I'm pretty sure.
Where can people find you guys? If they're online, do you guys have social media? Do you guys do all that?
Absolutely. We're
awesome
everywhere. just search us. Search in moving companies will pop up number 1 or number 2.
Awesome.
We're all over the place.
Awesome.
What parts of the country are you in?
We're at 75 franchises nationwide
Woo!
now. Yeah.
I had no idea. I didn't know it was
great.
that big.
That's growth,
when I
man.
first started, we were at 19.
Wow.
So we're from Florida. Florida's really saturated with College Hunks. That's obviously where the brand's at, corporate headquarters, all the way to California to New York. So if you guys need any services, look it up. Most likely we're going to be somewhere near you.
Right on. Well, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Man.
Awesome.
All right. Sweat Equity Podcast. Subscribe. Put a review. Tell your mom. Have a good one.
See ya.